Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Dian Islamiati and I'm from the 7th group, and today I will explain about the rhythm and the rhyme of the poem with the title Composed upon Westminster Bridge by William Wordsworth. For the first is rhythm. As we know that rhythm is the beat and pace of poetry, and it is created by the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllable. In this poem, you can see that the rhythm in the first line, the examples like earth has not anything to show more fear. The word earth is stressed syllable. The has word is unstressed syllable. Anything is stressed syllable, not is unstressed syllable. And the second analysis is rhyme. As we know that rhyme pattern is created at the end of the line that have similar sound. In this poetry, you can see that some words have similar sound like fire and weir, bear and weir also, and then by and lie, steep and deep, and other. And you can see in the rhyme of this poem, the rhyme pattern of this poem is A, B, B, A, B, B, A, and C, D, C, D. You can see that the red words is A, the brown is C, the blue is B, the purple is D. Based on the definition of rhyme have similar sound. So if you see the first line and the fourth line, when you read it, is they have similar sound. Earth has not anything to show more fair. And then the city now doth like a garment wear. They have similar sound. It calls the A. And the CD, you can see in the line, never saw I, never felt a calm so deep. It seems it have similar sound with dear God, the fairy house seems asleep.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And from the next material is Westminster from. Okay. Composed upon Westminster Bridge is a lyric poem in the form of sonnet, and in English there are two types of sonnets, the patrician and the Shakespearean, both with 14 lines. Wordsworth's poem is a patrician sonnet developed by the Italian poet Petrarch, a Roman Catholic priest. A patrician sonnet consists of an 8-line stanza, or you can call it and a 6-line stanza or sestet. For the first stanza presents a theme or a problem, and the second stanza develops the theme or suggests a solution to the problem. Okay. For first stanza, or we can call it octave, it is for A, B, B, A. You can know from the poem that I will read after this. For first stanza, A, B, B, A and A, B, B, A, and for second stanza, C, D and C, D and C, D. Okay. For the first stanza, it is from one line through 8 lines with the poem, with the lyric poem. Earth has not anything to show more fair. There would be of soul who could pass by. A sight so touching in its majesty. The city now doth like a German weir. The beauty of the morning silent there. Ship towers, dams, theaters, and temples lie. Open unto the fields and to the sky, all break and gathering in the smokeless air. In lines 1 until through 8, which together compose a single sentence, the speaker describes what he sees as he stands on Westminster Bridge looking out at the city. He begins by saying that there is nothing more fair on earth than the sight he sees, and that anyone who could pass the spot without stopping to look has a dull soul. The poem takes place in the beauty of the morning, which lies like a blanket over the silent city. He then lists what he sees in the city and mentions that the cities save the pollution and lies. Open onto the fields and to the sky. Okay, for the second stanza, in lines 9 until 14, like this. Never did sun more beautifully state in his first splendor, valley, rock, or hill. Never felt a calm too steep. The river glad at his own swift will. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Okay. In lines 9 through 14, the speaker tells the reader that the sun has never shone more beautifully, even on nature, or valley, rock, or hill, and that he has never seen or felt such deep calm. He goes on to describe the way that the river, which he personifies, glides along at the slope base it chooses. The poem ends with an exclamation saying that the houses seem asleep, and the heart of the city is still. Okay, for the summary, the first 8 line until 8 line, present a view of the city. It was in the sunlit morning like a garment, and it is edifies glitter beneath the sky. The last 6 lines then boldly declare that this man formation is just as beautiful in the sunlight as any natural formation, such as a valley or hill. Moreover, it is just as calming to the observer, for even the houses seem to sleep like the people in them. Okay, thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, friends. My name is Muhammad Wafa. I want to present the next material of the analysis of the poem Campus upon Westminster Bridge by William Wordsworth. Yes, I want to explain about the denotation and connotation of the poem. Okay, for the first line, the denotation is Earth does not have anything to show more fire. For the connotation, it means that the earth has no other sight as beautiful as the one he beholds. For the second line, the denotation is dull would he be of salt who could pass by. For the connotation, it means that anyone who could see the sight that he is witnessing and passing by without being stunned by its beauty would be very dull of soul. For the third line, the denotation is, a sight so touching in its majesty. for the connotation, it means that he is observing the city of London. He continues in the third line of the octave to say that the sight makes him very emotional due to its royalty and majesty. Next, for the fourth line, the denotation is this city doth like a garment wear. For the connotation, it means that in the fourth line of the octave, Wordsworth mentions the city and immediately personifies it to be able to wear the garment. Next, for the fifth line, the denotation is the beauty of morning silent fair. For the connotation, it means that Wordsworth discloses that the garment he is referring to is the personified morning, which is deep in beauty and rich in silence. Next, for the sixth line, the denotation is ships, tower, dams, theaters, and temples light. For the connotation, it means that as if out of the purpose to suddenly introduce the stereotypical image we have of the city. He moves on from describing the beauty and silence of the morning to a list of structures synonymous with activity and movement. For the seventh line, the denotation is open unto the field, unto the sky. For the connotation, it means that Wordsworth shared his disbelief at the sight of the city surrounding to the open, clear sky. He mentioned the sight of fields, which is unusual considering that the city of London is known more for its movement and commercial structures. Next, for the eighth line, for the denotation is all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. For the connotation, it means that at the cityscape, shining like new and well-lit in the unpolluted his morning air. Next, for the ninth line, the denotation is never did sun more beautifully steep. For the connotation, it means that he opened the sister with a sense of disbelief and exaggeration, where he says that he has never seen the sun rise more beautifully. Next, for the 10th line, the denotation is in his first splendor, valley, rock, or hill. For the connotation, it means that he described the sun lighting up hills, rock, and valley, once again elements of the natural landscape that usually do not come to mind when we think of London. For the 11th line, the denotation is neither shall I, never felt a calm so sweet, so deep. For the connotation, it means that he emphasizes on his belief that the sight brings him a sense of calm and peace that he has never experienced before. He described how the vision of London makes him feel calm, which is perhaps surprising because London is a huge, bustling city. Next, for the 12th line, the denotation is the river flooded and his own sweet will. For the connotation, it means that Wordsworth also draws our attention to the fact that irrespective of whether man has the eyes or the vision to praise and glorify nature, nature carries on exhibiting its beauty and running its course. Next, for the 13th line, the denotation is there gone, the very houses seem asleep. For the connotation, it means that Wordsworth used exclamation and apostrophe by addressing God directly and once again personified the beautiful city of London by mentioning that the houses seem to be asleep in the early morning hours. He cries out to God as if he has just recognized something astonishing he had not noticed before. He personifies the houses as asleep, when it is actually the people inside the houses who are sleeping at these early hours. Okay, for the last line, the 14th line, the connotation is, "An almighty earth is lying still." For the connotation, it means that he ends off the sun by making a direct reference to the significance of the city, by referring to it as mighty heart, continuing to give the city human-like qualities. The city of London appears to be in a state of slumber to the Poet's eyes. The city looks like one big, peaceful, sleeping body. The heart of this body is lying still. For the moment before, the city awakens for a new day. The heart probably doesn't refer to anything specific, but rather the city's energy or vitality. Thanks for your nice attention. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Muttaqin. Here I'd like to present my analysis of figurative language in this poem. So before that, let me explain you what is figurative language itself. Nah, figurative language is language that use words or expression with the meaning is different from the literal interpretation. So actually there are many kinds of figurative language, but here I found 6 kinds of figurative language. So let's check it out. First I found hyperbole. Hyperbole. What is hyperbole? Hyperbole is speech which exaggerate of the meaning in the sentence. Jadi untuk jenis ini itu nanti melebih-lebihkan makna dari kalimat tersebut. Nah, for example here, I found 3 sentences in that poem that include hyperbole. First, Earth has not anything to show more fair. Here the writer, he really means something like, at this particular moment, I can't imagine anywhere being more beautiful than this place I'm staying. So he feels like tidak ada tempat secantik tempat ini ya gitu. Itu kan namanya melebih kayak gitu. And then never did sun more beautiful state. Here also the writer tell that London creates a beautiful that has never been experienced before clearly. And next, never saw I never felt a calm so deep. Here in that line, he tells that sense of calmness never felt before. Next is simile. Simile is which is used to compare the things to others by a like or as. By using at or as. Jadi compare-nya itu menggunakan like or as. So here I just got 1 sentence. This city now does like a garment wear. There's like, ada kata like, there's word like, so that is similar. And the number 3, personification. Personification here, personification is using human qualities to something non-human, like animals or things. Okay, here I found 4 sentences. First, never did sun more beautiful step. And then the beauty of the morning silent and pale. And then the river glares at his sweet wheel, human quality. And then, dear God, the very houses seem asleep. Sleep in. Okay. And the next is alliteration. What is alliteration? Alliteration happens when the sentence with same sound, okay, with the words have same sound, not letter ya. Jadi sama, like, and repetition, diulang, same sound and repetition, same beginning sound and repetition. Okay, here I just got one. Two. A sight so touching in its majesty. Okay, here the repetition, the beginning sound is as, sight so. Nah, repetition ya. Maka dari itu we call it alliteration. Next is sea towers, dome, terrace, and temple line. Okay, here the repetition is T, yeah. Towers, domes, theaters, temples. Okay. And number 5 is inversion. Okay, inversion. Inversion is term used to refer to the inverting of normal word order in the sentence. Okay, it means the sentence don't don't make by some grammatical correct like that. It's effect by inversion. Like, would he be also who could pass by? Nah itu kan gramaticalnya kan agak gimana gitu, agak nggak grammatical, nggak baku. Itu buat memperindah karya sastra katanya. Never did sun more beautiful step is also the inversion. And then near saw I never felt a calm so deep. Yeah. And the last is metaphor. Okay, metaphor is phrase describing something in is it not reality? By symbolize and not real. Like, an eye that might hurt is lying still. Okay, here he compared the big city to the mighty herd that is lying still. Like that. That's enough for me. Thanks for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For the next is
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Hesti Rindhi Anggraeni. I'm the last speaker from 7th group. In this section, I would like to present the imagery and symbols and also the narrative from Compass upon Westminster Bridge poem. The first imagery is the most beautiful things ever. In this imagery, William Wordsworth claimed that his vision of London is the best on earth. It's clearly an exaggeration. But it's an innocent exaggeration, one that puts us in the moment of his passing experience. It is really not much different from an expression that many people use all the time nowadays, such as the most fun ever, the best movie ever, or the most awkward party ever. This is proven by line 1, or you really outdid yourself on this one. The claim that no sight is more beautiful than the view from Westminster Bridge is a case of hyperbole or exaggeration. Then line 2. The word duel suggests a contrast with a knife or some other sharp object. In the implicit metaphor, the dual person's soul has been worn down by time and experience. Then line 3. To say that something is touching in its majesty. It is almost a paradox, a contradiction in terms. A touching sight is intimate and personal, while a majestic one is grand and public. With this phrase, Wordsworth comes close to capturing the indescribable feeling of familiarity and distance all at once. The last is line 9 till line 11. Line 9 until line 11 have a parallel structure in which he claims that the effect of the morning light on London creates a beauty that has never been experienced before. As in the first line, these claims are hyperboles. The next imagery is things as people. Wordsworth used personification in several places in the poem, in reference to the city, sun, river, and houses. This is proven by line 4. The morning beauty is compared to clothing, a garment in a similar. Only people can wear clothing. Okay, we can say that maybe a dogs or a cats can wear sweaters too, but those are strangely disconcerting. So London must be personified. Then line 10. His first splendor is a roundabout way of talking about the sunrise. The sun is personified as a male. Then line 12. The river is personified as a person who likes to take things at his own pace. He's like the person in front of you at the supermarket who's going to spend 10 minutes at the cash register and there's nothing you can do about it. Then line 13. The houses are personified as sleeping people because the city is quiet and still. In reality, the people inside the houses are the ones who are asleep. The last is line 14. The city as personified as a person with a heart. The heart is lying still, perhaps because the city, like its houses, is asleep. The next imagery is clothing and nudity. Encompassed upon Westminster Bridge, clothes are a metaphor for the way the city and nature in general seem to put on different appearances depending on the way the legs dresses them. This is proven by line 4. The morning light is compared to clothes worn by London. A garment is just an article of clothing. And line 5. The word pair could be a pun that means both, open the view, or unadorned but also naked. The next imagery is sleep. For the author, a large part of the city's charm in the early morning is the fact that this huge metropolis. Most people are still literally asleep, so the city seems metaphorically asleep. This is proven by line 13. This line contains a simile that compares the inactivity of the houses to the sleeping people within them. It would have been a metaphor if Wordsworth had written, the very houses are asleep. Then line 14. Is the city with its energetic heart also being compared to a sleeping person? We think so because the heart is lying still, like a person in a bed. The next is the symbols of composed upon Westminster Bridge poem. The first symbol is the buildings. The buildings and other man-made structure listed in the sixth line symbolize the unexpected majesty of the urban landscape. And in here, the author draws attention to the ships, towers, tombs, theaters, and the houses of the city. This wide range of architectural marvels imbues the city with its own sense of majesty and wonder, but also connected to the beautiful landmarks of nature. The description of this structure as bright and glittering gives them an even stronger sense of wonder and beauty. In line 8. The next symbol is the sun. The sun, as referenced in the ninth line of the poem, symbolizes the revelation the author experiences over the course of the poem. Oftentimes, the sun and sunlight is associated with enlightenment or the uncovering of some truth, as it both literally and figuratively sheds light. Then, about the narrative from the composed upon Westminster Bridge. I can tell you that William Wordsworth, in his poem Composed upon Westminster Bridge, described his experience of an early morning in London. The author declares he has found the most beautiful scene on earth. He claims that nature was infinitely good and beautiful. Because the time is so early morning, so that all is quiet. The various landmarks visible from the bridge, including St. Paul's Cathedral and the Tower of London, stand before him. It is make he can see all their grandeur in the morning light. Then the author compares the sunlight on the building to the light that shines on the countryside, and he seems surprised to feel more at peace in the bustling city than he has anywhere else. With what he witnessed in the city, then the author compared them with nature. The author sees the natural elements which one the river, the sun, the sky, the valley, the rock, and the hill, but also the objects that man made as the ships, the tower, the theaters, the temple, and the houses. So, the natural elements and the objects made by the man are connected by the beauty of the city. The urban setting can be regarded as natural life because man, who made the city, is himself as the natural. From his poem, we can assume that the language that used perhaps reflecting the immediate and unsophisticated sense that he feels of how beautiful the London view is. And he described the extraordinary calm and quietness which are typically of the early morning. I think enough for me. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.